In the late 1990s and early 2000s, DVDs were the king of home entertainment. They provided superior picture quality compared to VHS tapes, could store multiple audio tracks and special features, and revolutionized how people experienced movies at home. For a time, DVDs were a lucrative market, with billions of dollars generated annually by studios and retailers. But this golden era of DVDs did not last. The decline of this format, while partly due to technological advancement and the rise of streaming, was also heavily influenced by one crucial factor: piracy. In this video, we'll explore how the widespread practice of piracy significantly contributed to the fall of DVDs, undermining their value and reshaping the home entertainment industry. Welcome to the History of Simple Things, where we delve into the fascinating history behind the little things that shape our world. The first major blow to DVDs came from the rapid adoption of high-speed internet in the early 2000s. As broadband became widely available, the ease of sharing large files online grew exponentially. Movies, which were previously constrained by the limitations of dial-up internet, could now be uploaded and downloaded within hours, or even minutes in some cases. Websites and peer-to-peer (P2P) platforms like Napster, Kazaa, and LimeWire initially popularized file sharing for music, but it wasn't long before movies followed suit. With the advent of BitTorrent technology, the floodgates were fully opened. BitTorrent enabled users to download files in smaller chunks from multiple sources simultaneously, making the process faster and more efficient. Entire DVD-quality movies could be ripped, uploaded, and downloaded by millions of people around the globe. For many, piracy was simply too convenient and cost-effective to resist. Why pay $20 for a DVD when you could get the same movie for free with just a few clicks? Pirates didn't just stop at uploading individual movie files, they took it a step further by duplicating the entire DVD experience. This was made possible by advances in DVD ripping software, which allowed users to extract an exact copy of a DVD, complete with menus, subtitles, and bonus features. Such ISO files or disk images could then be burned onto blank DVDs or shared online. In some cases, pirated versions even outperformed the original discs by removing region locks and anti-piracy warnings, which many consumers found frustrating. The availability of these high-quality pirated copies undermined the value proposition of buying official DVDs. Studios and distributors, who invested heavily in creating and marketing these discs, suddenly found their revenue streams cannibalized by an underground network of free and easily accessible alternatives. The issue of piracy was further compounded by the sheer scale and accessibility of bootleg DVDs. In many parts of the world, particularly in regions with weaker copyright enforcement, physical piracy flourished alongside its digital counterpart. Street vendors and markets became flooded with counterfeit DVDs sold at a fraction of the price of legitimate copies. These pirated DVDs often featured new releases that were still in theaters or movies that hadn't yet been officially distributed in certain countries. Even in developed countries, the proliferation of counterfeit DVDs was a visible reminder of how easy it was to bypass official channels. Another factor that accelerated the decline of DVDs was the failure of copy protection measures to keep up with the ingenuity of pirates. The Content Scramble System, or CSS, an encryption technology designed to prevent unauthorized copying of DVDs, was cracked within a year of its introduction. Once the encryption was broken, it became trivial for anyone with the right software to copy or rip DVDs. Studios tried to combat this with new measures like region coding and more advanced encryption methods, but these were often seen as inconveniences to legitimate buyers, while being no more than temporary hurdles for determined pirates. The inability of the industry to stay ahead in this cat-and-mouse game eroded consumer trust and made piracy an increasingly attractive option. It wasn't just the availability of pirated content that hurt the DVD market, it was also the cultural shift that piracy initiated. As more people turned to downloading movies for free, the perception of paying for physical media began to change. DVDs, once seen as must-have collectibles, started to feel outdated and overpriced in an era of instant digital gratification. The normalization of piracy, particularly among younger audiences, created a generation of consumers who were less inclined to purchase DVDs and more inclined to seek out free alternatives. This change in consumer behavior was one of the most insidious effects of piracy, as it eroded the very foundation of the home entertainment business. The financial consequences of this shift were devastating for the movie industry. By the mid-2000s, DVD sales, which had been a major source of revenue for studios, began to stagnate and decline. This decline was exacerbated by the simultaneous rise of legal streaming services, which offered a more convenient and legitimate way to access movies and TV shows. Netflix, initially a DVD rental service, pivoted to streaming in 2007, further accelerating the transition away from physical media. For studios, the combination of piracy and streaming created a perfect storm that rendered DVDs increasingly irrelevant. The billions lost to piracy each year were compounded by the lower profit margins of streaming compared to DVD sales. Interestingly, the decline of DVDs due to piracy also had a ripple effect on other industries. Retailers who had relied heavily on DVD sales, such as Blockbuster and other video rental chains, struggled to adapt and eventually went out of business. Hardware manufacturers, from DVD players to optical drive producers, saw demand for their products dwindle. Even the Postal Service, which had benefited from DVD-by-mail services like Netflix and Gamefly, experienced a drop in business as streaming and piracy took over. The impact of piracy on DVDs, therefore, extended far beyond the studios, reshaping the entire ecosystem of home entertainment. In the end, piracy didn't just contribute to the fall of DVDs, it symbolized a broader shift in how people consume media. The technological innovations that made piracy possible also paved the way for the streaming revolution, which ultimately replaced DVDs as the dominant format for home entertainment. While streaming services have mitigated some of the damage caused by piracy by offering affordable and convenient legal alternatives, piracy still exists and continues to challenge the industry. For DVDs, however, the damage was already done. Once the gold standard of home entertainment, they were reduced to relics of a bygone era, overtaken by the very forces that they helped popularize. The story of how piracy contributed to the fall of DVDs is a cautionary tale about the unintended consequences of technological progress. It serves as a reminder that innovation, while often beneficial, can also disrupt established industries in ways that are difficult to predict. As we look to the future of media consumption, it remains to be seen how the industry will continue to adapt to the ever-changing landscape of technology, piracy, and consumer behavior. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.